Nurture and support. Nurture and support. This is a podcast theme song. And it's really short.
Nurture and support begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Nurture and Support, the podcast where we give you recommendations of sharing all the awesome that's everywhere on the internet. I am Mel at Karmic9 on Twitter, and here's Kelly once again.
Hi, everybody. It's Kelly Tool at KELLYTHUL on Twitter. We also share the awesome that sometimes is in the grocery store or in a bookshelf or other places on the internet, too. So there. And we have a guest today, and our guest is Ashley, and Ashley is a faux Canadian because I found out I was all excited that we've had someone from Australia, and Ashley, we'll let her explain her situation. She lives so I get this right, Ashley, you live in Canada, but you're actually a U.S. citizen, is that right?
I do. I live in Canada. I'm a U.S. citizen, moved here for work, and love it ever since.
Excellent.
Wow.
Very cool. And so I now have to modify I had made all my recommendations metric, and now I'm going to have to kind of convert it back. But I'm okay with that. It's not a problem. But if you want to let the folks know, Ashley, your Twitter account and stuff, and anything else you'd like to just share before we get started?
Yeah, so my Twitter account is at atypical_Ashley, and I tweet about basically anything, and local search if you'd like to follow me. So that is what I do, and I'm just really glad to share the awesome with you today.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you. We're always happy to get new recommendations. New blood on the show.
Absolutely. And most importantly, and I've really, this warrants a mention, because I would dare say that Ashley's commitment to this show is actually stronger than Mel's. Because we have established that we have an issue with knitters. Well, at least Kelly has established that people who do knitting podcasts who do better than us in the hobbies category on iTunes are a problem for me, and there are so many.
That explanation is getting really long.
But Ashley, as I explained our situation to Ashley one time, she cut off communications with her grandmother who knitted. That is her level of communication. But the good news here, Ashley, is if you do, you can let her back in the circle unless she happens to be podcasting about knitting in the hobbies channel of iTunes and doing better than us.
You know what? I can start talking to her again because she does not know how to use a computer, so we are all good. So I will give her a call when we are done. She's still up.
See that?
Here we are, Nurture and Support, bringing families back together.
Awesome.
Oh, well, obviously, y'all can tell that Kelly didn't kick me off the show after my last week's recommendation that did have something to do with knitting. So I'm back again this week through his kindness and grace.
Yeah, right.
But my recommendation this week is a little bit different. For longtime listeners, you might remember way back when I talked about this neat little contraption called an AeroPress, where I admitted my deep, abiding addiction to caffeine. And I do believe I mentioned back then that I was something of a tea snob back in the day. So what I wanted to share with everybody this week is not a new company, because they've been doing this for a very long time, but a company that is new to me that sells tea. And it's called Adagio Teas. Their website is adagio.com, and that is ADAGIO.com. Are either of y'all tea drinkers?
I do enjoy tea, yes.
Good. I'm particular to oolongs. Do you have any particular kind that you like?
I like the Lipton.
Lipton? Yeah.
I like green tea.
You like green teas? Okay. Oolong is in between a green and a black tea. And they happen to be my favorite kind. But Adagio sells, of course, all kinds of teas, like all good tea shops out there. They've got black teas, flavor, black blended teas, chais, oolongs, whites, greens, herbals, the whole thing. The reason I think it's kind of interesting how I came across this company. I've often talked about the power of Twitter to share awesome, cool things widely. And I follow a lot of authors on Twitter. And Adagio has this cool program where you can get on there and you can make your own tea blends. Now, what people have done with their full support is they have made their own tea blends based on particular shows or movies or characters from books or things like that. So they have an entire fandom section that revolves around some example fandoms that they have on there from TVs and movies. They've got ones for Attack on Titan, which Kelly should try.
What in the world?
Yes.
What would be in an Attack on Titan tea?
What they do is they pull out particular characters from a show, and they devise a tea blend that reminds them of that character. These are people that are way into tea. And so they take, what you do is you look through all of the different teas that Adagio makes, and then you can combine them all together. You can, pick from one over here and one over here, and then you can add a few little extra things and basically create an entirely new, unique blend that you've created based on whatever you think some character might either like to drink or just remind you of them. So there were just some cool ones. They had Attack on Titan. There are several on there that are based on Avatar. There is, of course, Doctor Who, a ton of Buffy ones, and a bunch of Harry Potter ones. And, of course, there's a lot of Firefly on there. As any good place that caters to a fandom is going to have a lot of Firefly involved everywhere. Which, of course, I bought the sampler. That was one of the first things I bought from them. And they even have a Penny Dreadful one. I think there's actually a couple of them now when I checked right before the show. Some people have gone and made some based on the characters from Penny Dreadful, that new show, which I have recommended before. I really love that show. They've even got ones from games. Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Fallout were 3 of the ones that I found pretty quickly. But the one that sent me to this website is one based on a book series that starts with a book called Ancillary Justice. Now, spoiler alert, everybody, I haven't recommended this book yet, but that's only because I haven't finished the second book in the series yet, and as soon as I get that done, I'll be up here telling everybody about it because it's a really good book. If you want to jump in on it, it's called Ancillary Justice, and it's by a lady named Ann Leckie, and that's Leckie. She has created some blends based on some teas that the characters in her books drink. And she tweeted about it because one of them had been out of stock for quite a while and it was available again. So she was just letting everybody know it was available. And I was like, I like tea. And so I followed this little link and then fell down this whole rabbit hole of all of these teas based on different fandoms out there. So one of the really impressive things that I found about this is, as I mentioned, I really like oolongs. And one of her teas is called VahnItr. It's VahnItr. And it's a blend of several different flavored oolongs. Grapefruit, peach, and almond are the top notes in it. Now, I actually hate grapefruit. For anyone out there, who cares? I absolutely hate grapefruit. But I was really curious as to what a grapefruit oolong tasted like. And so I bought one, and I absolutely love it. It's amazing. I hate grapefruit, and it smells like grapefruit, but obviously it doesn't taste like grapefruit or I'd be nasty. But it's really amazing, so it really impressed me. I would not have ever thought to put grapefruit, peach, and an almond flavor together to make a tea. So anyway, their prices, which is always very important when one is talking about expensive tea shops, their prices are really very, very reasonable. A 3-ounce bag of some of these fandom teas only costs $10, and their shipping is only like $3 or $4. So it's very affordable, and all of these different fandom teas that are out there, they will also make them in collector tins. Some of these people have made their own little artworks for each one of their teas. A whole bunch of people have. They've either taken screenshots from the the movie or the show that they're doing, or they've actually created all new artwork. And when you get the collector tin, that artwork is all on the lid of that tin, which is actually pretty cool. They're really not that expensive, and they put them on sale quite a bit, it seems. And that would be a great gift for somebody who you don't know what else to get them. You know they love Harry Potter, or their brown coats and love Firefly. These would be cool little gifts to get people, and they're inexpensive and would expose, if they're not a big tea drinker, might expose them to a beverage that not only is caffeinated, but is moderately healthy for you. So it's a win-win. So that's Adagio teas, and you can find them at adagio.com. And everybody should drink more tea.
Yeah. So a couple of questions, if I
Okay.
may. So if someone was looking to make up for their lack of knitter support, to nurture and support, could they go to this site and create nerd tea and support, and people could order it?
Yes.
So okay, you might want to remember that.
It's in a customized little knitting tin.
Yes.
Our nurture and support logo, so that could be cool, and then our fans could have tea. And is
Absolutely.
there an oolong John Silver tea yet?
No, not that I've seen, but we could probably make one.
Okay, cool. That is really cool.
I thought it was really neat, and I
No
can't
idea.
believe, as much as I like tea and as many years as I've been spending a lot of money on expensive tea, that I didn't really know about this. As much as I'm a geek that trolls everything Firefly, everything on the internet, that I didn't know this. And so I was amazed. I thought I would share it in case some other people had also missed it. So
Very, very cool.
awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. I do like it for the gift idea.
Mhm.
I don't drink a lot of tea. If I have it, I will drink some. But
Mhm.
as far as gifts go, it just popped into my head a million people that I could get those for.
Right, and they're cute little teas. There's usually 5 in the little collector tins. It's not a lot. It's like a small sample size, so there's probably about 5 cups per tin of the tea, but they're really cute, and they come in a nice little, ever so often, I don't know if it's every week, or if it's once a month, but they'll do a special where they'll do not just they're in the tins, but they're also in a collector box. It's a cardboard box, but it's fully graphicked with the graphics from the particular tea, and that's the one. They happened to have that one up on special when I first visited the site, and couldn't click the button fast enough. So I've got a nice little Firefly one sitting next to my water kettle, so I'm happy.
Now, how much more is it for the collector tin than just the 3 ounces?
Their samples actually, let me see here if I still have it up. They're, of most of their blends that I found, their little sample tin that has about 5 cups in it runs about $4 if you're just going to buy an individual tin. Let me see what the size is. Okay, so as we speak right now, there are some Sherlock ones up, and a package of 6 in the set is $19.
With the collector tin, that's not bad.
Yes. No, it's not bad. It's not bad for a gift like that, and it's really pretty cool.
Customized, kind of, very cool.
So they're neat. It's worth looking around. I get lost looking at all of it and have to go. I have enough tea. I can't buy any more right now until I drink what I have.
Now, I have to ask because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I didn't hear you say Star Wars.
There are.
Okay.
I saw a couple that where I didn't search specifically for Star Wars, but while I was just glancing through some of the most popular ones, there was one that was old school Star Wars, and then there was one that looked like it had the prequels in it.
Oh, okay.
Which is unfortunate.
The prequel tea is just kind of mostly CGI. Not very
Right.
well developed.
They send you an empty tin full of air. You know. But
That's
yes,
great.
I did see one that seemed to be based. I didn't look at it in depth, but it seemed to be based on the original Star Wars, so that's worth looking at. But I'm sure there's probably a lot more. That was just within the first couple of pages of the most popular blends. But if you don't find one that you like, you can always make your own, which I think is totally cool, and I'm going to have to play with that some more.
That also sounds very cool. I would be interested in just making my own.
Right.
adding in that grapefruit that I love so much.
I'm really surprised that I like grapefruit oolong. I never would have guessed because I despise grapefruit. Despise it. Ugh. Nasty stuff.
It's not for everyone.
No. So I don't think we set the order before we actually started recording. Who's next, Kelly?
I had prepped Ashley to go next, and
Go
obviously,
middle.
yes, have her go in the middle. And
Okay, that works for me.
so anytime you're ready, ma'am.
Wouldn't say I'm ready, but I will start now. So I am going to recommend an app that I use. It's called Workflowy. Have either of you heard of it before?
I actually have downloaded it, but I have not even opened it yet. So yay, you can tell me how to work it.
Yeah, it's actually completely awesome. So I'll tell you why I love it so much before I go into what it does.
Okay.
They're kind of one and the same. So Workflowy is a really easy, simple way to keep track of all of your thoughts. So throughout the day, and I'm sure everyone can relate to this, throughout not only the day but the year and years, you have thoughts, and there's related items to your thoughts that you go back to weeks, months, years later. And this is just a sleek, simple way to keep track of all of those thoughts. And I find it insanely simple to keep track. I've tried others like OneNote and Evernote, and none of them are just so simple. So that's why I like this. And just to go into what it does, so you start out with 2 bullets. One's personal, one's work. And that comes, so when you open it, you'll see that it has personal and work. And so you can press enter and tab, just like you would in Word, to make a bulleted list. And it'll keep your list, and you can keep going. You can make the hierarchy go on forever and ever, depending on how many thoughts and sub-thoughts you have. But and then you can complete a task, and it will remove it from your list, but you can always go back and search, and it keeps your complete history. And depending on how many items you have per month, you get $250 a month free. But if you go over that, like I do, because you can't keep anything in your head, you need to keep it somewhere else. You can pay $4.99, and it's unlimited, and that's per month. But it looks really simple. It has more functionality, like you can make things bold and italics. I actually just learned that today when I was kind of going through it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of CEOs say that they love to use this tool because it's just so simple. And so Matt Cutts, he's the head of web spam at Google right now. He uses it. One of the founders of Twitter, Evan Williams, he uses it as well, and they all give glowing reviews of how easy it is to use. So just a fun stat, last year I had 3,500 bullets that I created. So if you can imagine trying to keep all of those in your head, it would be crazy. So that's just why I really love this app. And you can use it in the web browser. You can download it as an app for your desktop. You can also use it on your phone, and it's any system that, any like iOS, Windows. And I think that's all I have for that. Do you have any questions?
That's cool. I didn't have any idea that it was available through the web. That changes that changes a lot for me, because when I get home, I don't use my phone or my iPad quite as much. I usually like to use my computer or my laptop when I get home. So that's cool. So you can use it on the go with your phone and when you're at home. And sometimes it's just easier to enter things with a keyboard.
Yeah, definitely. It's all secret. And that's when I usually use it throughout the day. And then when I go to my phone if I need to check something and I'm out on the run.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't have any idea if it was available on the web. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I'm feeling good about it for a couple of reasons. So I'm an Evernote washout, and I'm slowly becoming a OneNote washout. I'm highly, highly confident that the odds of me hitting 250 thoughts in a month is remote at the best. Especially if because I like Alice Cooper, that would be there like a lot. And if you don't count duplicates, I'm good. So is it text only, or can you can you draw a little bit, or are there images you can insert, or is it more of a list?
It is text only. It's like a list. One thing I forgot to mention is that you can do like the hashtags, and if you go to the search, you enter in like the hashtag, you can see everything that you have ever put as a hashtag.
Okay.
So if you need to relate something to this project, you can leave it there. You can use the @ symbol to say like at mom or at dad, and then you know that that has to do with them. Like you can use it for family too. I use it a lot for work, but I also use it for songs I hear and I want to look up again, you know, keep track of those.
Good.
Yeah, there's so many uses for it. And the one thing with OneNote that I do like that Workflowy does not have is Outlook integration. So there you can add something as a task to your Outlook, which is obviously beneficial, but with Workflowy you can't, but they are always there, just no reminders.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, that's definitely worth a look, because I've just continued to finding a good mechanism to do that's hard. And now you get to start using @grandma again. How cool is that?
Yes, I do.
Big day. Awesome.
Send a sorry note. I miss Christmas.
Yeah, I hope you had a nice Christmas. Sorry, I missed your 90th birthday. Well, we're cool now. We're cool.
She probably knitted you something really good for Christmas too, and you didn't get
Oh, no. She probably did.
it. Cool.
That's
Well,
commitment
yeah,
now.
I collect a bunch of those list type apps, and then I end up never using them because they make things too complicated. So that's why I had already downloaded this one, but I haven't ever opened it. So yeah, I'll have to make a list to remind me to open the app. So I'll get there.
Definitely. So actually, we moved to Microsoft 365, and I started using OneNote after I already had Workflowy, and so now I always give new things a shot. So I gave it a shot, but I just ended up copying all my bullet points or my to-do list and pasting it in Workflowy.
So do you use like a hashtag to do, so to actually get do you maintain like a single to-do list with kind of items underneath it, or do you hashtag it to do, or how do you?
That is more complex.
Okay.
That goes in my brain. So the search functionality is actually really good. What I usually do is hashtag, and then the week it needs to get done.
Oh, cool.
So then I'll search by that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Good.
Organization for the new year. I like it.
Yes. Yeah, a perfect time in January.
Absolutely. I always need more organization.
At some point, we need to get somebody on this show that understands Evernote. I keep hearing some people go, "Oh, it's the greatest thing ever." But every run I've made at that thing, it just doesn't work. So I really like the sounds of this because it's simple, and simple is good. So.
Yeah, I've never gotten Evernote to work except for the food part to do the recipes. I've gotten that to work, and that works easily. But yeah, the actual real Evernote app, I've never been able to stick with that. So.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, Kelly.
All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, everybody, and now my recommendation, which is the first time ever we may have a live, on-the-air injury to someone during Nurture and Support. So without further ado, let's see if I can get that up there for Mel. I know we're a podcast, but right there. Right there.
So somebody got a drone. It would appear that Kelly has joined the ranks of the drone operators. That's cool.
And did you hear that very
cool.
Did you hear that very soft landing? We'll explain that in a moment too. So I didn't injure myself, and so I know that was horrible podcast moments for you. Maybe Mel, we can find one screenshot that captures the drone up. It was awesome when I tested it earlier because there's 2 green lights on the front of it, and it came right up over my shoulder and was looking over my shoulder, which is like awesome. But
cool.
But it stopped. It didn't do it that time. So the noise you heard was indeed a drone. It is a Parrot mini drone rolling spider. Because I only make recommendations of new things. I never go back in history and do this, so it's always new. Ashley, that's what I'm all about. It's new. I have my history is awash with many remote control devices that I was convinced would complete my life that now are strewn about whatever. There's hovercraft, helicopters, off-road jeeps, tanks that all just I thought I needed, and I had trouble with them, or they didn't work quite as well. And so the latest one is this drones have come along. The quadcopter, the kind of the 4-propeller drone environment, just looked fascinating. And then you see some of these like higher-end drones that they fly up in the middle of a fireworks show, and it's filming the fireworks from within. It's just fascinating stuff. And so I've been interested in drones. I think they're pretty cool. But to buy a good one's a fairly large investment. And so given my past track record, I thought perhaps I should start smaller and make sure that I am drone friendly before I move on. And so while not dirt cheap, the Parrot mini drone rolling spider is just under $100. You can go out and buy, if you go to like to Bed Bath and Beyond, Radio Shack, you can get some $30, $50 quadcopters and mini drone type of thing. So this is a little pricier than that, but in terms of kind of getting a feel for it, it's incredibly it's a high quality product. The benefits of it, or some of the biggest pros on, is I think if you maybe Ashley and Mel saw a little bit there. This is a very stable drone in terms of out of the box. You start it up, you hit the button I hit and didn't kill myself was take off, and it basically will shoot up about 3 feet and then just hit that 3-foot level and stop and stay just rock solid steady.
Oh, cool.
A lot of initial drones and things you get there is things called trim, where you need to kind of adjust the various rotations of the propellers and their positioning to get that stability. But you don't need to do that with this because it has a combination of an ultrasonic sensor, a 3-axis gyroscope, an accelerometer, a vertical camera, and a pressure sensor, kind of all built in that little mini drone that it utilizes to add to that stability. So there's a camera. Now the camera's not the highest end camera on it. It'll shoot 640 by 480 pixel photos for you. Got a little button to hit picture on there, and then when it's done, you have to go connect the drone with a USB cable to your computer to pull the photos down. But it uses the camera actually as part of its landing. So during our show here, I hit takeoff, and it flew up, and then as we were talking, and I was trying to get the camera to catch it, then when it was time to get finished, I hit another button, which is called land. And basically at that point, it takes over and starts lowering its altitude, but it's using the camera and the other items to ease that. So it didn't drop like a stone. You can do an emergency off if like it's flying. Yes, yes. Which I had to do as a few times it was headed towards me at great pace, and I was like, wait a sec, I don't know. So there's an emergency button to stop it. It will delight, and if you happen to have any small mammals living in your house, they will.
I was going to say, how do the cats like this drone?
Yeah, I've got some great pictures of angry cats looking up at the sky. Saying, what is it? It's indoor, outdoor. Obviously, you want a fairly calm day for it, just because it's not a very large thing. It'll go up to 33 feet.
Wow.
Which I would give you the meters for. I was prepared to, but I don't have to now. I could just say 33 feet. So it can put some decent height on it from there. So it's on that. This is actually called the Rolling Spider, and so I don't have them attached now. But what it comes with is a set of large, oversized wheels that you connect to it as well, an axle. And so basically you can. Those do a couple things. One, they protect the propellers if you're not a particularly gifted pilot, which would be me. And so if you're running into things, by having the large wheels on, they keep the propellers from actually running into anything and getting damaged, which is kind of important because you didn't get any replacement propellers in the kit. The other kind of cool thing you can do with the wheels is you can, once you get adept enough in controlling it, is you can obviously roll it across the floor. Again, very big with cats. They love that. You can roll it across the floor, but then you can get up to a wall, and you can basically run it up the wall because it'll just hug the wall, because you continue to drive it forward, and the wheels roll up the wall. And then once you hit the ceiling, you can have it roll across the ceiling. So,
no.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, go look up, do a Parrot mini drone video. You'll see. Yeah, so it's just so you can do some. You've got to get the piloting right, because if you think about it on the ground, it's going forward, and you want a little downward pressure on the wheels. As soon as it hits the wall, you're going to simply forward and up. And then when you're on the ceiling, you continue to have the drone try and increase its altitude while you go forward, and it just hugs the ceiling with the wheels rolling. It's just really cool. Now you gotta have the right kind of ceiling to support that, or good control to work around light fixtures, but that's another issue from there. So it is. It's a fun little device. If you want to start to get a little bit familiar with them and see how they go, you can do some photos with them. It's got the wheels there to help you do that. The biggest downside on it is the battery life, which is you're really looking at around an 8-minute flight. I think that's about it for where you're going to go. So this isn't going to be a thing sustained. It's going to be pretty short from there. And then once you complete your 8-minute flight, you're looking at over an hour to recharge the battery. So in terms of kind of rapid reuse, it's not so great there. And that's been kind of the downside on it. And they didn't do some things that would have helped that, like include an extra battery or a separate charging station. But you just plug it in to a USB port, it charges up. You can download software to update it. It's actually all controlled by your smartphone. This is probably a key thing to mention. It connects via Bluetooth. Android, iOS, or now Windows devices. The controller is completely on your phone. The app itself is called Free Flight 3, and this works across all the Parrot drone systems. So if you get used to using it on the mini drone as you move up to, which one day I will, move up to the higher and higher drones in Parrot, you use the same software. And it has multiple options. If you are most comfortable with kind of the traditional 2-joystick controller kind of model, altitude and trim on the other side, you can have it set up like that. If you're more kind of accelerometer based, you can do a setting that allows you to basically, as you tilt your phone forward, it takes it forward, back, it takes it back, left and right. You can use the phone in kind of positionally. Or you can do a version which I call the incredibly stupid version, which is what it does is it lets you, and so while you're using those other two, it just has a blue background and you have the controllers on it and you use the phone. But on the last one, what it basically does is it activates your camera, shuts off the accelerometer reading from your camera, so it activates your phone camera. So the concept they have is to say, okay, look at the drone through your phone and fly it, and you can film it while you're watching it through your phone, which has nearly killed me. Anytime that I have tried that has not gone well, and there has never been anything close to good footage of things that way. So I'm not really sure that, but that's one of 3 mechanisms. There's 2 other ways to do it. I do highly recommend doing some searches on Parrot Spider mini drone on YouTube, and you'll get some examples where you'll see some of the cool things to do. It comes also, what I really like is it comes preloaded with 3 or 4 stunts, so that you can basically hit one button and it'll do a barrel roll, or you hit another button and so you can look as if you really have a decent amount of skill in piloting it, but all you need to do is hit the button. So it's a good thing that way. But you'll see some examples of that. The weird thing on it was I don't mind unboxing videos. I think they're sometimes interesting to, whether, hey, here's the the new loot crate and then the unboxing of that, and that's all pretty cool. I don't know what happened here, but there are about upwards of 40 of the exact same unboxing video of this thing out there. If you do a search, you're going to find just this slew of, well, I'm unboxing my parents' Spider, and it's the exact same information. There's nothing. It's like I'm watching. It's just I'm watching this in somebody's living room. I'm watching this in someone's garage. It's the exact. Oh, it's got wheels, so it shows you the wheels. So it's pretty much what I just talked about. But everyone's about the same. So I would skip unboxing related videos on it, but look at some of the other ones in action. Except Parrot offers a wide variety of drones. If Parrot happens to be listening and they like what I said and would like to perhaps to send a larger drone my way, I won't argue against it. You must do what you feel is right, Parrot. But I'll follow me. I'll DM you my address. Happy to. But it's just really good quality. I like it. They offer a whole variety of different sizes depending on what your investments you want to make in. And so I just think it's kind of a fun thing. So that's my recommendation for the week. And I didn't get hurt, so even better.
That's plus. I have to admit, when you first said you had a drone that was called Spider, can you guess the first thing that popped into my head? We've talked about this movie before.
Not Big Ass Spider.
No.
Oh no! Oh yes.
Runaway.
Yes.
And I'm having flashes of Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons.
Tom Selleck. No, this doesn't have like creepy legs or anything like that.
Okay.
This has got big wheels, 4 propellers, and lots of fun. So,
Cool. I like that. I like drones. I'm gonna have to find me a drone.
I gotta find mine.
I too
The
would
cats
like a
probably
drone.
took it away. So do you have a graveyard for all of your discarded remote control contraptions?
Yeah, kind of. I should. That'd be kind of a sad picture for the website. But I might, maybe the hovercraft. Maybe I'll get that out and do a photograph. And again, it seemed like such a good idea, and like I needed it at the time. But you'd be surprised at the limited applications of hovercrafts in Central Illinois.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How many 8-minute flights did it take you to become the pro fighter pilot you are today?
Oh, I think that's a little generous, but thank you. So I'd say once, because of its natural stability, and this is kind of what has contributed to my graveyard, is that to get actually kind of good at it and control it. Sometimes it took too long. I'd say probably about after the 5th flight of it, I got to the point where I felt pretty comfortable. I could sit down here in the basement and kind of run it around the perimeter of the room and bring it back to where I started and have it land down on something and have decent control. But it really, they chase a lot of the system itself causing the problem, because it is so darn stable, and if you're going to wreck it or crash it, it's because either you panic or drive it too far. So once you kind of start to understand, this is how sensitive it is for forward and back, and remember, if you're controlling things with the positional kind of accelerometer thing, once it turns around and it's not facing you anymore, the rules change, and it's important to remember that. And so it takes a couple times, but I'd say around 5 times, because what I didn't have to master keeping it stable. I just had to master the true navigation part of it. And so actually, raising it a couple inches or lowering it a couple inches, what I had to learn was how big a tilt is that? How sensitive is these things from there? But and then it was a little tricky to figure out, because I wasn't sure whether it was taking photos or not, because there's a gallery viewer in the app. So you kind of think, oh, I just took some pictures. It's available on the app. Well, it doesn't pass the photos through Bluetooth at all. All the photos sit on the device, and so you've got to connect it up and then go to the camera roll on the device itself to get them. And like I said, it's not great. 640 by 480 resolution photos. It's not great, but you take that outside, put that up 20 feet, take a picture. It's still kind of a cool picture. So.
Mm-hmm. So it can't do video.
No.
Okay. Video would be so cool.
Video would be awesome. So
I wonder if it can carry a GoPro.
GoPros are pretty heavy, though, right?
No, they're usually pretty light. I mean, there's a bunch of different versions of it, but I don't know. I mean, they're relatively light, but whether it's too heavy for a little drone, I don't know.
Yeah. This is a little guy, so I don't know how much payload it could take. But the next couple generations up of the Parrot series, they're all about those kind of connectivity. So
yeah, then you could have video of it terrorizing the cat,
which would be pretty sweet. Yeah.
That'll be really cool, because it's coming in a couple of years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, there's tons of fun drone videos on YouTube as well. In terms of the guy posted one where he's like, okay, so I lost control of my drone. Here's the video. It's you watch it go up, and he's kind of narrating it, and then the captain goes, "This is where I lost control," and then basically you get another 10 minutes of watching this drone aimlessly wander through the countryside, and eventually come down to a landing, and the local police eventually found it, and he had some information on it, and they called him up and said, "You missing anything?" He goes, "Yeah, kind of lost my drone." So, good stuff.
That's funny. Oh, so I think it's time for us to move into social media recommendations. This week, I am going to recommend, this one's very easy. Her name is Gail Simone, and that is at Gail, Gail, Simone, Simone, which all of you, if you're a fan of the Red Sonja comic book, you know who Gail is. She is the writer for that. She's just awesome in general, and she followed me back. So
Awesome. Very, very
I
cool.
like her. But she is uber geek. She's awesome. She doesn't just tweet about comic books. So she's a good follow, even if you're not involved in comic books. And I think everyone should follow her because she is great fun. And she follows me.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So I guess it's my turn. My social media recommendation this week is at Lifehacker on Twitter, and it's spelled exactly like it sounds. And they just have these neat tips and tricks for everyday things. They can be inside the home, outside the home, and for work. But no matter what they have, usually every day, at least once a day, they have something that is applicable to someone, and that being me. But anyone, they post a real good variety of things every day.
Cool, that's a good one.
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, I've always loved like Lifehacker stuff. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if should I recommend somebody who followed me back, like I don't know, Vanilla Ice. No, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna recommend. It's a cheat recommendation. Mel will hate me for it, but it's okay. Friend of the show, but we will not declare how. I'm gonna recommend everyone follow Big Evil Corporation PR, and that's Big Evil Corp CORP PR. They don't tweet much. And when they
I don't know who runs that account, but total jerk.
Totally, it is. Well, they're big and they're evil, and they're the PR department for a big evil corporation, and they're not nice. They aren't, and most of they don't seem to tweet a lot. When they do tweet, it's mostly to deny fault for things, and say not our fault, not our fault. Is pretty much what it does. On occasion, they'll interact if someone's being particularly unpleasant on Twitter. I'll see them respond back, "We like the cut of your jib," that kind of thing. So, so you gotta follow Big Evil Corporate PR. I think they'll get you if you don't.
They're worth a follow just so that you know where they are, folks. So if you're not following them already, you should. Like
Mel and I are not, we may or may not have a sponsorship relationship with Big Evil Corporation PR, but we're not allowed to say. So.
Yes, bad things might happen. There's a gag order.
That's been made clear. Yes.
So I think on that cheerful note, it's time to turn this show over to Matt, who will tell everyone how to get in touch with us. If you have a recommendation, we would love to hear it. If you've got a friendly comment about the show, we would love to hear it. Or if you have a story to tell us about Big Evil Corp, let us know. Matt will tell you how. And we'll be back next week with more.
Thanks for joining us, Ashley.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
You can contact us on our website, nurtureandsupport.net. or email us at nurtandsupp@gmail.com. That's NURTANDSUPP@gmail.com. Or tweet us at nurtandsupp on Twitter.
Nurturing and supporting VahnItr.